Good afternoon, friends, fellows, countrymen. Welcome to virtual Memorial Stadium on the campus of the virtual University of Kansas. Not the actual virtual University of Kansas where you can take classes online, but the NCAA football version of this university, which you can see in the background. They do a fairly effective job at recreating the sort of scene behind the stadium. This is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Jayhawks. Kansas comes into this game 7-4, looking to make it 8-4. Notre Dame is 5-5, looking to make it to 6-5. This was, I believe, when Notre Dame was fully entrenched in the Tyrone Willingham era. Not a great era in Notre Dame football history by any means, but not as bad as the era that would soon follow with the coach that would destroy both programs on the field today for a couple of years, at least for Notre Dame. Hopefully not for any longer period of time for the Jayhawks, but Mr. Charlie Weiss. Let's everybody give him a hand for ruining college football at two universities and still making money off of it to this day. That's not a joke. Notre Dame's running game was okay today, but it was really their pass game, which was kind of what defeated the Jayhawks defensively. Because we had their pass game down, or their run game down, basically, very well. It was their pass game that was getting us, which is unfortunate because we have actually a pretty decent secondary. If you remember, during the Willingham era, Notre Dame ran the option a lot. They weren't really a pro-style pass team. If I remember right, they were mostly a triple option team. But, you know, NCAA football doesn't have to necessarily conform to those rules. And Notre Dame starts off the game with a touchdown. And the Notre Dame cheerleaders go crazy. Even though, semantically, that's not where the cheerleaders would stand for Notre Dame. They'd be on the other side of the field in real Memorial Stadium. Also, I believe at this point, the band didn't sit there where the band is right now. They do now. But anyway, 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, trying to get the ball down the field with the Jayhawks. Quarterback number 13. We make the juke there, get by him, but still get tripped up. So 4th and 4, you know what's coming. Yeah, it went dormant for a little bit, but it's still here, and the fake punt lives on. You can follow that Twitter, by the way, at FakePuntAlert on Twitter for all your fake punt news. We tried running the ball here. The running game actually worked better in this game than it did in the past couple of games. Really, since about the midway point of the season, it's been just a difficult stretch of games for number 11. But he had a good game here, so it's actually good to have a running game kind of set up. Here we get I almost had the first down, but if I had continued scrambling, I went for the touchdown instead. If I had continued scrambling, I would have probably prolonged that drive a little bit longer. So Notre Dame gets the ball back. They're trying to run the ball here, and it's always like their first two downs, they would try to run the ball. And then on the third down, they would eventually get it. Here I just whiff on a tackle. The biggest problem we had this game was getting the other team to a third down and then not being able to stop them and get them to a fourth down. And that's actually a problem that the modern Jayhawks actually have, the 2015 Jayhawks, and that's a decent segue to go talk about them. We almost got them on that option there, by the way, but there was a holding call, and so they actually had to go back 1st and 19 here. And they get the first down, or they got what would have been a first down, 9 yards about. So 2nd and 10, so it's effectively like they just lost it down. Then 3rd and 9, again, you know, you get these 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, and if you can't hold them, then there's, you know, that's a failure on the defensive side, unfortunately. Good pass coverage there. Bad pass coverage here, but he drops it. And then finally, on 3rd and goal, again, 3rd and 8, we get a touchdown there. That was almost good pass coverage because we almost knocked it down, but whatever. So we head in. They're up 14-0 to start this game up. Trying to get something before the half. That would be great, but, you know, I ran the ball there. That was probably a mistake, but, you know, what are you going to do? Here, I really thought that was a touchdown, to be honest with you. I did not think that the safety would get there in time. So it's 14-0 at the half. In real football news, the real Jayhawks go to Ames, Iowa this weekend to take on the Iowa State Cyclones in a... Oh, wait. Yeah, that always just kind of jumps up on you. The random tip play with the pass that goes for 80 yards. You never really see that coming, don't you? Right? there's really no introduction you can give to it. It's kind of like that play that Ole Miss had against Alabama a couple weeks ago. Actually, very similar. Back foot, tip, caught, run, touchdown. So, that's one way to get back into a game, is to get a random 80-yard pass touchdown. That's generally my favorite way to get back into the game, is a random 80-yard pass touchdown, followed up shortly by the 99-yard handoff at the 1-yard line. Anyway, this weekend, the real Jayhawks of Kansas go to Ames, Iowa to take on the Cyclones of Iowa State in their first Big 12 game of the season. Probably the two worst teams in the conference playing. Maybe we'll get a win this weekend. I've kind of accepted that we're probably going to go 0-12 and not win any games this year. That's unfortunate. This is one of those lobs to the corner that actually works sometimes. But yeah, I really don't think we're going to win this game. I really don't think we're going to win any game. That doesn't mean that we won't win any game, but it's going to be a surprise to me kind of whenever it happens, which is, that's never my favorite way to go about a football season, is knowing that any win you're going to get is going to be an upset. Right now, this is actually the most likely game that we will win. It's a 16-point spread. Like, I know gambling spreads don't necessarily count that much, but still, here we go. We get into the red zone here. It is 1st and 10. Trying to run the option to the right. And here's my major play calling flaw here, was I ran another option to the right. And that, injured my quarterback, so we had to put in the backup, who came in for one play on this drive and promptly got sacked because nobody was open. Anyway, so we had to go and kick the field goal. But hey, it's points. It's better than nothing, right? 14-10 is the score. You want a touchdown there, but that was just poor play calling on my part. We do give the ball back to Notre Dame, who has an okay return here for the most part. And when I say okay, I mean potentially game-changing return here for the most part, getting into our territory. However, I say okay because it brings them all the way back to their own 11. A clipping, actually, which you could see in that footage. It was at the bottom of the screen. It was my player, the guy I was controlling. And then, just for good fun, how about another penalty? So it's 14-10. Notre Dame had to believe their own 5-yard line. And we just got to get, this would be the prime opportunity to get a stop here. Running game working just as well as that has been the entire game, which is to say basically not at all. And here we go, trying to stop him again, 3rd and long, but this time they overthrow their man. Good coverage and good pressure on the quarterback to force that bad throw. So we are going to get the ball back with a chance to score. I know it's a backup quarterback in, which is unfortunate, but hey, you got to work with what they give you. That's a bad throw. You can tell he's a backup quarterback there. We get the sneak here, or the draw here, and then stupidly 4th and 4. I should have just really gone for it. 4th and 3, I should have just done a short pass or something, because they I already ran the fake punt, and they totally saw it coming, and a blocker totally whiffed. That's also true. But yeah, so that takes the wind out of the sails there, and Notre Dame just keeps moving down the field. We had a chance to come back and actually take the lead on that last drive, and you know what? It was bad play calling that blew it. That's me. That's nothing about the game. Also, I'm controlling all of the players, so it's always me. However, still disappointing. And I'm still disappointed that we're in this situation right here. We get him again to a 3rd and long here. I believe it's 3rd and 9. And they drop back to pass, and what do they have? Wide open over the middle as a receiver. That's just the way that this game went. Anyway. Yeah, it's always there's always a lot of depressed sighs in these videos. That's a touchdown for Notre Dame, by the way, when I discuss the actual KU team, because we're not in a good spot right now. We do go long here, the fake KU football team, the one that's 7-4 here, and we get it. So that's a 1st down, and then on the next play, to the end zone, to number 1, and that's why he's number 1. Touchdown, Kansas. So we're not actually totally out of it. You get that sometimes. Sometimes you get a random touchdown, and then you got to go for the onside kick. You don't do enough onside kicks to figure out how to actually accurately do one in this game. That's something I probably should go into a practice mode and do. And that goes out of bounds. So that's effectively the end of everything for both this team and the 2015 rendition of the Jayhawks. I hope they win this weekend. I hope they win every weekend, but I'm also a realist, and I know, like, yeah, Iowa State's good at the one thing we're really bad at on defense. It's 21-17 at the end of the game. Very close game. Very tight game all the way down to the finish. But hey, you know, you don't win them all. We finished the season, the regular season at the very least, at 7-5. We will be going to a bowl game. Oh man, number 10 is just distraught. He had a decent game, well, actually a pretty good game coming in as the backup. So hey, you know, good job for him. I'm just going to show you here the Heisman Trophy winner, number 7. But we do go to the Houston Bowl between Kansas and Southern Mississippi in Houston, Texas. We had a very good season, all things considered, 7-5. You look to build off of that. 8th in the Big 12, technically the last team in the Big 12 to make a bowl game, which is unfortunate, but hey, you know what? You still made a bowl game, and there's something to build off of next year. You know, you want to get higher. You want to compete maybe for a Big 12 North title. We did win one trophy. That was the marching drum between the Kansas Jayhawks and Missouri Tigers. They don't give out the K-State KU trophy, the Governor's Cup, in this game anyway, but, you know, we wouldn't have won that anyway if we had. So, we go down and look at just some of the slate of regular bowl games. Down, we got we're getting to the BCS, Tennessee and Ohio State, then Florida State and Florida for the Sugar Bowl. That would be cool. Marshall and Miami, and then Washington State and Oklahoma. I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.